What's up, my crypto legends? Is the price of Bitcoin just getting ready for the second huge, massive drop after the one that we did have yesterday? Or are we going to manage to consolidate above $40,000, go sideways, and finally let this bump and run play out? Now, it all really depends on certain levels that I'm going to explain in this episode. I'm going to explain the levels where we could see a sign of strength and the price of Bitcoin will likely break out and go to much higher levels. As long as we're beneath that level, it doesn't look too great for the price of Bitcoin. Of course, there is another major pattern here forming on the lower time frames, and I'm going to explain how important it is for the DXY to maintain beneath this huge major level. Of course, we'll be comparing it here to see the negative correlation with Bitcoin and how important it is for the DXY to stay beneath this level in the coming days. Of course, tomorrow we do have inflation rate. We did get a bit of volatility, not much happening. But if we start breaking out in the coming days after the news tomorrow, this ain't going to be looking good for Bitcoin and stocks. And it's likely that we are going to see a crash overall the markets. Make sure to stay tuned because I'll be giving you exactly what you need to know for the next coming days. Hi there, Andy here. Welcome back to another episode, guys. Now, I need your full attention in this video because I'm going to explain where we can confirm a sign of strength for Bitcoin, possibly to go to new yearly highs. But as long as we're beneath this range, it's not going to be looking too great. Before we start with the technical analysis on Bitcoin, I want to let you know that Bybit has been live for over 5 years and it's got a trading competition with a $1 million prize pool that also got some lucky draws where you can win an iPhone 15, a nice watch. Guys, check it out. I'll be leaving the link down below in the description so you can actually join that competition and also get into the lucky draws. Okay, let's dive in right away here because the price of Bitcoin, what now? We got a major bounce, double bottom here from these lows. We managed to get a rise of over $1,000. Is this just consolidating for a huge, massive drop? Well, this has got to do also with the DXY, guys. Very important. This is the next chart that we are going to take a look at here after Bitcoin. But let's talk about the possible scenarios. Of course, we do have that bump and run on a little bit of a higher time frames that if we do manage to get above that lower high resistance successfully in the next coming days, of course, that will be a good sign for the price of Bitcoin to actually start moving to the upside for potentially creating new yearly highs. However, we are still very far away from this pattern. So what do we have here more internally? Well, as you can see with this bounce after the major test of the lows, we did not manage very well to get above this major consolidation range where we do have that high volume spike. If we do take a look at the volume profile, that was acting as major resistance, as you can see with the price action today. Of course, getting above this level, that would be a clear sign of strength, and we could see the price coming to attempt here the lower resistance from the bump and run pattern. That would be very interesting to see on the chart in the next coming hours. This is if we do not continue dropping, of course. I'll be talking about the major levels here of support that if we do lose, the price of Bitcoin is just going to fall down to $39,000 and even $38,000, especially if we do see the DXY breaking that resistance that will be explained in the next coming minutes. Now, of course, what is the lower time frame pattern that we do see here for Bitcoin? Now, if we do analyze the situation, we have seen the price of Bitcoin creating some very aggressive lower highs in between yesterday and today. Something curious to see about here, this rejection that we did have today at $42,000, it was based on the previous day point of control where we did manage to create that high volume node, just managing to rise here to hit that zone here where we do have the high volume node to get that rejection with the lower high resistance trend line. So let me tell you, a sign of bullishness will be getting above these lower highs that have been created today. getting above the previous day point of control, if we do manage to see that price action managing to get above this level, then obviously that would be a clear sign of strength. We got the previous day value area high, which is basically the dead cat bounce high. Now we need a break above this zone if we want the price to have an attempt in breaking the lower high resistance of this bump and run scenario. So far the price is looking very bearish, and we need the bulls to start stepping in to break this resistance level. So on the lower time frame, we need that 42,100 to 200 range to be broken, basically today's highs, for us to think that we are likely going to have an attempt to go to much higher levels. That would be a clear sign of strength where we are getting above all of this consolidation, high volume node, and finally looking for the rise on Bitcoin. As long as we beneath this level, guys, I am sorry to be the one that says that this is very bearish. Of course, there is the scenario of this being an inverted head and shoulder scenario. I think you must have heard this, of course, on other places or some other people that are doing analysis. It looks like that we have a descending neckline with lower highs, getting resistance here several times. However, we are forming a kind of an inverted head and shoulder. If the price does manage to hold the 618 50% Fibonacci here from this range, there is a possibility that we could have that breakout of lower high resistance in the next coming hours. So far, 50% is holding very nicely here with this consolidation. As you can see, we're probably going to get another leg down to 618 if we do maintain above the 40,700 range in the next coming hours, getting that consolidation, getting the reaction, guys, not entering here within a waterfall, because if we waterfall, of course, we're not interested. If we do manage to consolidate, that will be a clear sign of strength, and the price would be looking for that bounce and an attempt to break lower high resistance, the highs of today, which is with the previous day point of control, and that obviously will be extremely bullish, and we would be looking for a significant rise on Bitcoin. However, as long as we are beneath, of course, we are in a downtrend, and possibly the price is just going to continue down and test the lows of the drop again. Now, if we do test the lows of that drop, the only level that could maintain us above is the highs here from the consolidation of the 2nd and 3rd of December, with that daily naked point of control sitting around about the $39,700 level. So it would have to turn into a failed auction situation. If this were to be the case and we maintain above the level, it will be a sign that the bears are losing steam and that the bulls could step in at any moment to push the price in the next coming days. Now, all of this is pure speculation. The chart is looking a little bit bearish when we do take a look at this drop. I think people must be losing hope at this stage and just sees the end of the rally and the price of Bitcoin just dropping here to $39,000, $38,000 in the coming days. Definitely a possibility, guys. I'm not saying that this is not going to drop. We just need to react at certain scenarios. See that movement to the downside. If we fail to move beneath the lows from the drop yesterday, of course, we could be looking at a possible failed auction, double, triple bottom scenario, and then the price is going to manage to get that rise, finally to break the lower high resistance on this bump and run. Of course, there will be some long opportunities here at this range if we were to fail the breakout. If the breakout is successful, we don't get any type of reaction at the daily naked point of control, I am looking for the price to even dip down to around about the $38,000 range. We're just going to have to see the reactions and then take those decisions. Bullish case scenario, it is pretty simple. We do manage to break above here, hold here, create a higher low, inverted head and shoulder, get above today's highs and previous day point of control. This is going to be looking very good for this bump and run scenario from the video mentioned yesterday. If we were to break above that lower high resistance trend line. Also, the value area low from this trading zone, that is going to be looking very, very nice here for the price of Bitcoin to create new yearly highs. Of course, this is still pure speculation. We do have some traders possibly attempting those long scenarios here, being very, very defensive with their positions, of course. Now, diving in here on the price of the DXY, something that you need to understand, the negative correlation with Bitcoin. I need to explain this because this has to be one of the most important charts that I don't see hardly anyone talk about. And we need to realize that this is the most important level that the DXY needs to maintain beneath, which is that 103.8 level, where we are getting the reaction. We are consolidating here for the last week. This means this is resistance. It has proven to be resistance right over here. The moment we snap out from this level, I am going to call that the Bitcoin crypto bull run that has happened during the last few weeks has finished, and we are going to go to much, much lower levels, not only $38,000, but even the low $30,000 in the next coming weeks, guys. This will be the moment of decision to analyze if the market is going to continue to be bullish or this is the top. Will be the moment when the DXY breaks above this level. Of course, we are at resistance. With today's news, okay, we have 3.1 inflation rate. We just had a little bit of volatility, nothing too crazy. We are still forming this kind of inverted head and shoulder to that point of control from the last 2 years. This is the point of control from the last 2 years of price action. This is why this level is providing that resistance, and this is why it is the most important level. Remember, just a few months ago, we did break bearish structure, meaning that the price action created a higher high right over here after creating the lower low, as you can see. The probabilities in creating a higher low is there, guys, and we need to be cautious. If we do break above this level, for me, it will be the end of the bull run here, and we're likely going to get very aggressive corrective moves in the next coming weeks and months. Of course, let's analyze the situation. So far, we are getting the reaction at this resistance. I don't like this price action, of course, because it does look like very much an inverted head and shoulder that we formed here during the last couple of weeks. We did get a perfect bounce at the 618 Fibonacci from the pivot low here from July to the pivot high here created in October, touched the 618 to the exact dollar right there, getting a big bounce here during the last few weeks. Now, it is important. We might just get one more corrective move for the crypto bull run to continue for a week or two. However, we need to analyze the situation because we do still have a lot of support here. We could test the lows and create a double bottom scenario. That is the moment that we need to be extremely cautious. Now, I don't think that Bitcoin will be hitting all-time high in the next couple of months. Yes, we could go to $48,000, $50,000 range. However, that will be the moment where we do see the DXY dropping in the coming weeks, managing to see that pump on Bitcoin and that altcoin season to continue. Now, that will be the moment that I'll be looking very carefully at this situation because we do have extreme support right over here. This could be the start of massive 5 waves here to the upside before we get the DXY crashing. And the most common target here for wave 2, if this is the second wave after a breakout of a downtrend structure, is in between 50% and 618. Of course, 50 and 618 have been hit, but maybe we are going to get one more leg down to the 78 Fibonacci, which is also with a very high volume node here created from the last 2 years. Now we can see that the price of the DXY did just manage to maintain above that level. We can have an attempt in breaking through it. However, if we do consolidate and do not manage to break through, This is not going to be looking good. If we do get that consolidation, I'm expecting a possible bounce only if we consolidate, because there is the extreme bullish case scenario that if the DXY just slices through all of these levels, then that is going to be absolutely golden for the markets, for crypto in general, and obviously we'll be looking for a much larger move here to the downside with the DXY. When we do take a look at the correlation, of course, the negative correlation, we need to take it into consideration. Every time the DXY tops, it's when the Bitcoin price bottoms, and we can take a look at the price action from the last few weeks, of course. DXY right over here on the candlesticks, bottoming out, Bitcoin topping out. DXY topping out, getting that correction here in between October and November. That is when Bitcoin bottomed out and started this major rally. If the DXY finds a bottom formation at this range, I can already tell you that this will be a top. And if DXY starts rallying, that is the moment that Bitcoin will start to get an immense crash, guys. Something to be aware of, the confirmation level for me is this level where we are at resistance at the moment. The moment you break above this level successfully, of course, we can test it several times. If it gets choppy action, it won't be a successful breakout. The moment you get a pretty significant large move above the 103.8 level, going to 104.5 approximately, then this will be the moment that it is a successful breakout for me, and I do see continuation to the upside, ending the run for the markets and crypto markets and in general. Guys, thank you very much for joining this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more updates. Remember, there's that Bybit competition because it's been live for over 5 years, $1 million prize pool. Make sure to join with the link down below. If you cannot trade with Bybit, a great one to trade with is MEXC, guys, where you do get $20,000 of airdropped, so depending on what you deposit and how much trading volume, of course, you're using. Thank you, everybody. Check out the Bybit tutorial to learn how to trade in that platform. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.